The last time I made speakers, I used solid cherry to build the boxes, but this time I'm going to be using 1/2" MDF. And I'm probably not alone here when I say that I don't particularly like working with it, but it is one of the better materials for doing this kind of thing. Probably one of the bigger benefits of owning a table saw that's made out of wood, so you can nail things down to it. I've got a small feather board that I quickly made up, and this will hold the parts up tight against the fence while I cut a rabbet into each edge. With all the parts cut out, I can start putting it together. I'm going to spread some glue in that rabbet and then fire in some pins to hold it while the glue dries. I'm also going to add a bead of glue along the joint on the inside. And what this does is it helps to seal it up. And it also adds a little bit of strength where the glue will seep down inside that crack. Now here I'm just putting it back in temporarily. I'm not gluing it. And I need to put that in to support the sides while I put the clamps on. This is actually 2 speakers in one, so they need to be divided. Here I'm putting that in. And after I get it cut to the right size, I can finish putting it in. While I was waiting for the glue to dry, I made one of the templates I need to cut out for the speakers. Normally I just use a circle cutting jig for the router like I did in the last build, but the woofer I'm using here has a square frame, so I had to make this instead. With the template still in place, I need to do a little bit more routing here so that the speaker will fit in the recess. Unfortunately, while doing this, I overcut in 2 places. The base of the router is not completely circular and has a spot in there that's flat. And I guess I wasn't paying close enough attention, and that's the result. However, it's easy enough to fix with some body filler. I'll let that dry and then route it again. It took a bit more messing around to make the one for the tweeter. Even though the speaker is round, it's too small for my circle cutting jig. So once again, I need to make a template. And the first one was close, but not quite close enough. I tried sanding a little bit off, but I wasn't happy with the results, so I just went ahead and I made a new one, and that turned out to be the exact right size. This speaker design needs ports, so what I'm going to use are pieces of plumbing pipe, actually. This is 1.5" diameter ABS pipe, and luckily I had some. Unfortunately, however, it isn't new. But if you know anything at all about plumbing, you know that the truly bad stuff never goes through a pipe that's this small. Now, the length and diameter of these ports is very important, and you use the specifications of the woofer and the size of the box to figure that out. And if you want to read more about that, there's a link in the description to the build article where I go into this in a bit more detail. I'm going to be painting this, and to get the best finish possible, I need to fill any gaps or cracks or nail holes that are there, and I'm using more of the body filler to do that. The great thing about this is how fast it dries, but then that also means that you don't have a lot of time to mess around with it. I probably should have done this before I put the tubes in, but I'll take the time now to clean out at least the first couple of inches of the pipe. That first round of sanding was with a coarser grit, and now I'm going to move up to something finer. This is 220 grit, and go over the entire box once again. I'm using clear water-based polyurethane to prime the box, starting with the inside. And when it dries, I can lightly sand it and give it a second coat. and then start painting it black. And the objective here is to build up a really thick layer of paint that's going to even everything out and make it so that it's perfectly smooth. Normally I don't bother to build grills for the speakers that I make. I prefer to leave the drivers exposed, and I think that looks better. Or at least it does to me. Some people think that it makes it sound better too, but I'm definitely not in that camp. But for something like this, I think it actually needs a grill, and that would be more for making it blend in and be less noticeable. After putting all that time into it, I suddenly realized that I don't like the way these look. So I'm going to try something different and see how that looks. And if I don't like that either, I can always leave the grills off. I need to carve out so much of the backside of each grill, and I probably could have done this a lot easier by using a bandsaw with just the center section put together. But that's hindsight, of course, and I didn't think of it at the time. So instead what I'm doing is I'm using the table saw. I'm just going to nibble away portions of the back of each bar until I have the area that covers the speakers cut out. You might have thought the painting was done, but no, I have to sand the entire box again, and then bring it back outdoors and spray it all again. Before I do that, though, I need to put in the magnets for the grills. This is probably something I should have done before I even started painting it in the first place, but then I didn't know for sure exactly how big the grills would be. So with all that other stuff done, I can get the wiring done and the speakers put in. And this is a very simple crossover. There's just a single coil on the woofer and a capacitor on the tweeter. And if you want to know more about this, there are details in the build article.